Hi everyone, good morning. So I hope you are able to hear me, right? Can you please confirm?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I hope you are aware of this DP203 is going to expire in March 31st. Is it, any one of you aware of it?
No, sir.
Okay, so basically when once we complete this data factor and database, in general, we used to go for writing a certification. The certification name is DP203. DP203, it is going to expire on March 31st. So no more DP203. In place of DP203, we have a DP700. Okay, so which is completely on Fabric, Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so Microsoft is going to start marketing this DP700 as well as whatever we are doing Azure engineering services. I mean, Azure data engineering services are there, right? ADF, ADB, and ADLS, SQL Server. All these things they brought into Microsoft Fabric. So in a single platform, everything we are going to have it in a single platform as a SaaS, software as a service. Okay. So I have a plan to take you through this DP 700 if you're interested to write this 700 examination, because even if you wanted to work as a Azure data engineering professional, then definitely you have to go with this certification only, because this is going to be expired no more DP 203 from the March 31st. Okay. And even if the person's already having DP 203, when they're going for renewal, every year we have to make a renewal every year. Okay, so when they're going for renewal, they have to go with the DP 700. That is one thing. And if you're interested to write DP 900, I have a plan, even certification based explanation also I wanted to take it through. So two things I'll take: certification point of view. So for going certification point of view is different and working point of view is different. Okay, so certification is like Microsoft Business, it is only business. I don't think there is something else is there. That is one thing. I'll talk about it why I'm saying it is a business point of view. And working is our professional. I mean, even if you're having a certification, it doesn't mean that you're going to get a job. But some companies they will look, if the person is already having a certification, they used to take a preference for that. Okay, so at least when you have a certification, you will be in a at least into the interview panel. I mean, interview process. Okay, so you will be picked. Otherwise, the profile is going to be filtered. So that means HRs they're going to check is the person having certification or not. Only for business point of view. They will look for business point of view, nothing more than that. But that we have to keep on in our mind. Working is different, certification is different. I always feel that. Okay, certification that's not going to have that much depth, and working at the time of working, we are going to touch many things. So I'm going to keep both of them in mind and to cover it, because going forward, we are going to see the DP 700 certification also. Okay, so I'm just looking into that. This one is a lifetime. We don't need to renewal it. Okay, so this one also I'll take you through in one weekend, DP 900, as we already seen many things. We already come across it. Okay, so like ADLS, we have come across, right? ADLS, SQL Server. And there are few things are there that I need to cover as part of this DP 900. Then you can attempt examination and DP 900. So this is the basic for data processing. DP means data processing related certifications. So once you have done this, then you can plan for this. After completion of the course, you can plan for DP 700 also. Okay, you got my point, right? And even we're also going to consider, we are also going to concentrate more on the DP 700 going forward batches. We have to follow the Microsoft only. So maybe in the future, after at least 3 to 5 years, after 3 or 5 years, you may not use this ADF directly in the ADF environment. You are going to use directly in the Microsoft environment. So when you use this in a Microsoft environment, I mean in a Fabric, there are many changes happen that we are not having in this place. They are not keeping the changes in the place, because if they kept all the updates in this place, people will never move. So to move the people from here to here, they're making updates directly in the Microsoft Fabric. So one update I was really impressed, that is sending an alert mail. So sending an alert mail in original ADF, this is not look and feel good, and the way of doing is little more complexity. But when it comes to here, it is just one drag and drop and fill the values. That's all. So that much simple it is there. I'm just exploring. I'm going through that. Okay, so because if you know data factory and Databricks, you can see, you can feel like 60 to 70% you are aware of it. If you know data factory and Databricks, ADLS, SQL, you can feel I know Microsoft Fabric 60 to 70%. You can feel that. Okay, so it is not a different thing from our learning. It will be same, but additionally there is a lakehouse. Okay, there is a lakehouse, and there is a data warehouse, and a data flow Gen 2. This data flow Gen 2 also, like if you are aware of Power BI, then they made the data flow Gen 2 from that particular place. So everything will be there at one place. Even for Power BI developers also is going to use the Microsoft Fabric, and data engineers also is going to use the Microsoft Fabric. So Microsoft Fabric for everyone, for data scientists, for a single unified platform it is. I'm just giving an idea how exactly it is going to be there. Okay, so let's move on to our, yeah, so I just showing here this DP203 Azure Data Engineering Associate is going to expire on March 31st, 2025. After this date, you will no longer to able to earn or renew this certification. Okay, you're clear on that, right? Let me go to the portal. So in the last session, how we can apply incremental loading for multiple tables that we have seen. So I'm just going to little extend. What if there is any table which is not having an incremental loading? So that one I'm going to take you through. Let me open our data factory, launch your data factory studio. So I'm just going to clone this pipeline. IL and FL. So both IL and FL I'm going to implement. When you have a IL and FL, definitely it is going to be multiple tables only, and you're not going to have a single table. So this kind of implementation, we have done it. With single pipeline, we have to handle it. Okay, so at one side, we don't go for all the tables. We are going to take a batches. Okay, so I'll talk about it, how we can handle the batches later. With the triggers, we are going to run it. So 10 tables one time, our next few tables is one time. If you feel there is a more volume of data that you can create a trigger in different time. So we'll see that. Now, let me go to my source is this one. So data store is my source, right? So my control table is available in the, I think I just kept the code all at one place to share with you. So this is the source code and target code is available here. Let me close this. Yeah, here it is. Now, if I see this control table, there is a one problem is there. Control table is always expendable or extendable. Not this one, sorry. Change connection. Oh God. I was there in the right place only, but I changed it again. So these tables are there in the target. Your target server is Azure SQL Server. You can see it. The problem here is how do we know this table is having a FL? FL means full loading. FL means full loading. And IL means incremental loading. We already done incremental loading. Okay, so only thing is we have to control it. We already done this. This one we have to do it. And FL is one activity, IL is one activity. And these two things we are going to control. We are going to control by there is a some gatekeeper is required. Okay, so gatekeeper is always going to check your is we are going to have a condition. Let's say if you are going to the movie, depends on your class, the gatekeeper is going to route you, right? So you have to go in that way. In the same way here also, this gatekeeper is going to check what kind of load you're having it. This person is going to check what kind of load is you're having. If the incoming person is having IL, then this person is going to route to this particular direction. Or if the incoming person is having a pass, gate pass is FL, that is full load, so that person will go to here. So in the data factory, who is going to be gatekeeper is if condition activity. If condition activity. There is an activity called if condition activity. We can control the flow of execution. We can control this flow or that flow, we can decide it. So this is going to have a two blocks. It is going to have a two blocks. If condition activity is going to have a two blocks. One is true block. Another is false block. Okay. So if the person I'm checking is this FL, then go with this direction. Or if the person is not having FL, then this person it will go to here. This is IL and this is FL. You can swap however you want. So two conditions only we have. One if condition is enough. When you have a two conditions, one if condition is enough. And if you have a condition inside condition, then you cannot use for each inside a for each. That's not possible. But if the business requirement demands to satisfy or to keep if inside if, how you can do it? That is an interview question. Or we have seen, if you remember, we have seen for each activity. So for each activity also we cannot keep inside for each inside for each. Okay, so nested for each is not possible. But if the business requirement demands, then how you can do it? So I'm going to take you through with for each inside for each later. For now, let's talk about how we can handle to go with either FL or IL. In order to pass these values, we have to give these values to for each if condition activity. To give these values to if condition activity, we have to add a new column in the control table. We have to add a new columns in the control table. The column name you can take type of load. Type of load or load type. Anything that we can take it. Load type. So I'll take load type, it is simple. Okay, so we'll give the values load type for any table. We can, whenever you are going to feed a new table into the control table, we have to make sure what value we are giving to the load type. What type of load you are taking it. You're on with me, right? Yes. Okay, perfect. Now let me add a new column to the table. Let me add a new column to the control table. Basically, this adding a columns to the control table is not going to be done by the persons who are having less experience, or it's not going to be handled by everyone in the team. So one person is going to add, rest of them is going to use it. Okay, but if at all, if you are going to get a chance to add a new column to the table, that's not a big deal. We can search in a Google, we can search in ChatGPT or anywhere. It gives a code. If you have an idea, you can do it. The syntax you may not remember, but you can remember the approach how we can do it. That is important as a data engineer. Now I'm just going to add a new column here. Alter table name is control underscore table, alter table. Even I used to forget about the syntax. When I'm writing, I used to fix it. Alter table, table name, and add. The name of the column is load type. Load type of type is varchar. Let's take 10 is enough. So I'm just going to add this column. Okay, so select star from control table. We're having a null here. So we need to update these two tables. We have implemented incremental loading. So I wanted to update these statements. Updating control table for customer. That's more enough. Updating control table to specify load type. Update table. Table name is control underscore table. Set. So I wanted to set a value for load type. What value we are going to have? IL. So when you're using update statement, we have to keep in mind, if you get a chance to update control table at the time of working, okay, so you have to make sure to use the where class. Without where class, you're not supposed to do it. Here you have only 2 records, but in real time, you may have a more than that. So I've come across more than 500 rows, 500 entries I've seen in my table. So I always keep where class. Whenever you're going to update, you have to keep in mind what you're updating. Load type, sorry, not load type, table underscore name in customer For customer, I wanted to update. And for employee also, I wanted to update. Load type as IL. So where is used to filter the data? This is one condition, this is one condition. So for these two tables only, it is going to update it. Now, if I see select star from table name, IL is there. The load type is IL. Now I'm going to feed one more table into this control table. I'm going to feed one more table into control table. Just observe. Insert into, let's say comment here. Feed one entry for FL. Insert into control underscore table values. 3 I'm taking third. What table I can take it? Let me say department. Table name is department. And since we are not going to apply incremental loading, we don't need to think about last loaded date. The last loaded date, we are going to say NA, and filter columns also NA, and load type is FL. If this is not allowing NA, then you have to keep the nulls. Okay, since we have taken the date type as a date time, if it is not allowing NA, then we are going to take that as a null. So null also, basically null is recommended to keep it. So null means you are not interested to pass the value. So null indicates it's not required to have a value. So for this particular requirement, whenever you are going to implement for FL, what columns we required is table name is required. Anyhow, this is a sequence number, it will come. And here table name is required. And what type of load is required. So filter column is not required because you are not implementing incremental loading. And last load date type also we don't require, because every time all the data you are going to take it. All the data you are going to take when you have a full loading. You agree with me, right? So we don't need to pass the value for last loaded date and filter column. In place of that, we can just pass null. Let's execute this statement. Now, if you see the data here, so these details are more enough. Okay, so based on this load type, I'm going to decide whether we need to go with the IL or FL. Let's go to data factory. So get list of tables is going to give the list of tables, right? I just wanted to run up to here. You can use debug until you can use, but for each, inside for each, you cannot go for that. If you go inside for each, I cannot use the debug until. Only outside for each only it is possible to go with the debug until. So if you want to skip or anything, simply can just go and deactivate the activities so that they are not going to be executed. So I wanted to run up to here. Just debug it, what values it is giving. So I wanted to get the status load type. Load type also I wanted to get the from this lookup. Get list of values I'm having. So it is giving name of the table and filter column. In the same way, the way we are getting both table name and filter column, I wanted to get the load type also. Just as simple, there is no much differences you are going to do here. For the existed pipeline only I have taken to implement FL and IL. So what I'll do here is, in the query, last time we have taken filter column and table name. I'm going to add load type. load type. I always recommend to execute the code in this place and check the code, is that executable or not. If it is executable, then bring or keep the code in this place. Now I'm just taking all these columns only. All the three columns I'm taking at one set. Previously we have taken only two columns. Now I required one more column. So I just wanted to take that. Now just run it up to here. You can see the load type of the table. Now if you see the output of this get a list of tables, you can say table name, filter column and load type. So I wanted to take the load type also. And if load type is IL, then I wanted to control this. This is full loading. This one is having a full loading. Sorry, IL it is. And I need to have one more loading, that is FL. Okay, so this one will be there in one block of your if condition activity, and this will be there in another block of your if activity. So I'm going to use the if condition activity. You just observe. I'm just going to make a disconnect and disconnect here. So I don't have a problem with IL. Okay, so I'm going to take the if condition activity. Make a connection between them. For now, I'll keep the connection. I wanted to show you how exactly this if condition activity is going to work. Okay, so I wanted to go with debug until here. Up to here only I wanted to do it. So this is expecting a condition because this is the gatekeeper. This gatekeeper always going to check your condition. Checks IL or FL. You can give any name for that. So there is a true block and if false block. So how it will go inside the true block or how it will go inside the FL is depends on the condition. If we see in the activities here, we're having a expression. In the if condition activity, we have a activities. So one property we need to set, you can see here one. And this is having an expression here. We already know how we can write the expression. We already know how we can write the expression. So expression is nothing but a condition. Like how we can write a condition is 10 greater than 5 is a condition. Okay, so we are going to have a column name, operator, and value. All these three are going to participate. Okay, so for operator also we have a function. We don't have a operator directly. For every operator, for equal, I have a equals function. If I have a less than, then less function is there. If I have a greater than, then we have a greater function. Okay, so if you have a logical or logical and, we have a and function. If there is a subtraction, basically we used to go with minus operation, right? A minus B. But the same thing that we can do it in our data factory is sub of A comma B. Okay, so these two are equal. This is everyone aware of it. A minus B is everyone aware of it. But when it comes to the data factory, you have to write sub A comma B. Okay, so 10 comma 5 means sub of 10 comma 5 means it is equivalent to A minus B. That means 10 minus 5. I hope you're with me, right? So whenever you are going to write a condition, we need to use the operators equals, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. All these operators are there in the form of functions. Now I need to take the output of your lookup activity. Output of lookup activity, I have to take it. So here also we have a two things I can handle. I can keep this if condition. If we keep outside if condition, since it is giving a list of values, it cannot handle the list of values. Okay, so I wanted to keep this inside the for each. Let's go inside for each. Inside for each, I'm going to keep if condition activity. Okay, so if condition activity is going to take the value, and what I will do is to make you little more understandable, I'm just going to deactivate all these activities. Okay, so I deactivated and we'll check here. Now you're getting the value here and you have to take, how we can take the value into this place is, let's go to activities and I'm just going to check item dot name, item dot load type. If item dot load type, if load type is equals to IL, then we have a function called equals function. You can see here logical functions I'm having. You can see equals. Example also you are going to have here. Logical if function, greater function, greater or equals to, that is greater than or equals to, less than, less or equals, less than or equal to, logical not, logical or. So everything is going to be there as a functions. Everything is going to be there as a functions. Now let me bring that value into this place and let me show you how I'm going to use this notepad. So I always recommend when you're writing an expressions, I always recommend to write it in a notepad. So this is giving a type of load. And there is a function called equals. You can see here, I'm just taking out this. Let's take a equals function. So this function is going to take a comma b. I mean to say a equals to b, right? You're going to take general a equals to b. Okay, so here, if you wanted to give a equals to b, then that is equivalent to this is equivalent to when you write a comma b. Okay, these two are same. Whether you can go with this option basically in data factory, we are going to use this ADF. This is general approach. Okay. So general, we are going to give it. So A means what in this particular case? A means your load type. This is A. And B, I wanted to say IL. I wanted to say B is IL. It's a hard coded value. Then it is going to convert it. Okay, so just observe. I'm taking in place of this A, let's keep your load type. In place of A, I'm keeping a load type. And in place of B, what you're going to keep? In place of B, I'm going to say IL. If load type value is equal to IL, then I wanted to execute. Just go to the data factory. I'm just going to keep this expression here. Why I have taken this out? Previously, there is a at symbol. This at is not required here because we have to keep only in the outmost function or in the starting of the expression only we have to keep it. So because of that reason, I have taken out. Now load type is going to check is that IL or not. If it is IL, then it is true. That condition, this condition is going to return true if it is IL. If it is true, then true block will be executed. So inside the true block, whatever I have here, that I wanted to keep it. For time being, I wanted to say here, otherwise we can directly go. It's not required. Let me say Let me activate all of them. I don't need to run it. And just activated all of them. Just take all this cut and paste. Cut them and paste inside the true block. Go inside the true block and paste it and make a connectivities. And there inside the for each. Inside for each, I have a if condition activity. This if condition activity is going to check is load type is IL. If it is IL, it will go inside the true block. If it is FL, then false is going to execute. If it is not IL means 100% we are going to handle two loads only. One is IL and other is FL. So ultimately it will go inside the false block. In the false block, I'm going to keep copy data activity. Only copy data is enough. We don't need starting date. We don't need max date. We don't need to update the stored procedure, right? So I'm going to take my source data set. The source data set is on-prem data store. I'm just taking on-prem data store. So I wanted to create a one table in the source. The table name is department table. Create table. Table name is department. Department underscore number is integer data type. Department underscore name is varchar. I'm just taking a sample and department underscore location. Varchar. So let me feed some values here. Feed sample values or sample data. Insert into department values. Department number 10. Department name is sales. Location is Hyderabad. Values it is. So I'm just going to feed only two values here. Two departments. Accounting. So let's feed these two records into the table. Yeah, let me create this table, or you can execute all this together. Now I wanted to see the data in the department table. Select star from table name. Now I'm able to see the data. Okay. At the same time, I'm going to feed one record into this table and one of the employee table. I'm just going to add one new record. $1,004. Krishna. Pune. 4,000. So I'm just feeding only in one table, that is employee table. One new record is there. So that means one new record is available in the employee table and no records in the customer table, no new records in the customer table, and one completely new data ingestion is added. Now I wanted to run my pipeline. If I run this pipeline, I need to create one more thing in the target. The same table should be there in the target also. Creating a department target table. Let's execute it. And when you see the data from this table, no data will be available here in the target. and you're going to load the data by running your pipeline, right? So still there is some setup is there. Let's take a query here and select star from table name. It's very simple. Okay, so you can take it to dynamic, right? We already implemented dynamic for this. Inside this here, I've written select star from table name. I can take the same code. Just observe how I'm going to use this. I don't need a where class. Just take out it. This one only I required. Go here. Your copy data activity in the false block. So here you have to make your source also is dynamic. You're going to keep the code like this. Select star from table name. Let's hit OK. Now go to sync. In the sync, I'm going to take a target dynamic. Your table name is what? Item.name. Iterator is not showing. That is fine. At item dot table underscore name is the name of the table is going to get here. Let's hit OK. That's all. So table name is going to be taken dynamically. Target table name is taken dynamically. And here the code is we are writing dynamically here. Is everyone clear with the if condition activity, how we are handling this loading types IL and FL? Do you have any question here? We are implementing in the similar way in my current project.
Sir, what if we have more than two conditions?
For incremental loading, always two conditions only: starting date, ending date.
Okay.
And load types we are taking always in the all data processing loadings. We have only two loadings. One is full loading, other is incremental loading. We are not going to have any other type of load.
Oh.
You got my point, right?
Yes.
So one if condition is enough. Now let me debug it. So list of tables has taken. If condition was succeeded guess, so it went for end date was failed. Why end date was failed? Is activity name was changed? Some issue is there that we need to fix it. Inner activity is failed. So that means because of this one is failed or that one is failed. Okay. Integration runtime issue. Let me check. If that is the case, this one should not execute. Okay. No. Okay. I got to know because this lookup is getting from the Azure side, and yesterday what happened is I uninstalled my integration runtime. I install it again. Let me check my link services. Make a test connection. Let me re-enter my password. So when I'm explaining multiple batches, sometimes I used to uninstall and install it again. So this password, I need to reset it. Okay, because I'm entering the password is manually. So because of that reason, it is getting. Now let's debug again. Because IL should not fail as we already set up, as we already tested. You can see it is getting in. So what type of integration runtime is using also it is showing here. Now then this copy data one is for full loading. Now it was succeeded. Okay, so if I go and see the data in this place in the department table, you can find the data. It's a full loading. But this should be go for truncate and load. If I rerun again, so I wanted to say here, and one more thing. If you go with this control table, let me re-execute this statement. Let's execute it. If there is a three tables, you can say while testing, you went with all these three tables, right? The three tables you tested. What if there is a 500 tables as my project is having? So they asked me to feed the data for one of the a new table. Then the table should come into this control table. The table should come into the control tables. Then only I can go for loading. If details are not available in the control table, then I'm not supposed to load the data. That is the prerequisite. Now I have a 500 tables already, one new table, total now 501 tables are there. To test for one table, do I need to test other 500 tables? Answer is no. We have to test only one table. Now load type also is going, is active also is going to play key role in the control table. Is table active or not? Is table active or not? Or you can have any flag. Okay, you can have any flag and you can just run it. In the where class, we are going to use while testing. We always recommend to have a is active also. You can feel that for what table you're testing. Okay, so for what table you're testing, and there is a one more approach, batch number. Batch number also is one of the column, we can keep it. Okay, so I'll talk about that when time comes, how exactly I have implemented. This is active is going to say is table inactive or not. In out of 500 tables, you're having 400 tables are active tables. And your new table is also active table. Again, there is a 401. Then how can you load only your table is only with batch number? Only with batch number. Okay, so this batch number will be used in the triggers. We used this batch number in the trigger. I mean, of course, it is there. If it is there in the pipeline, but we are passing the batch number from the trigger into this place as a parameter. We have used as a parameter. I have used this batch number. You got my point, right? So it was what I can say. If I go to that level, it will go little more extensive. So for time being, I'm just going to take this is active flag. Okay, so if is active flag is yes, then I wanted to run it. If is active flag is no, then I wanted to stop it. Okay, so in real time, just keep in mind, we are going to handle with the batch number. There is a one more column, we can have it. A batch number, they can have a batch number 1, 2, 3, something like that. It will be. You can keep your batch number for your tape something else different. Let's say there is a maximum 100. Just keep your batch number is 1000. So you're going to enter batch number is 1000. If batch number equal to 1000, then that value only is going to run it. So that is only is going to run. Okay, so that kind of handle we have done so that we can run for only that. Once it is fixed, then you have to update this batch number to existed batch numbers. So batch numbers they have decided based on the time. If they're running from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., if any job is running between these two time periods, that is batch 1. Just imagine. From 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., they decided that is batch 2. So the user is going to ask you at what time they wanted to run. Okay, so if that is the case, then we have a two schedules. Okay, so basically I'm saying in my project we are having in the morning we have it 8 a.m. to it's a Dubai time 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. In between that, if it is running, that is one batch. And if it is running from 9 to 10 a.m. is another batch. In the same way, evening, we have two batches. So total 4 batches are there. So every table should fall under either one of these batch. If user is saying some other time, then one more new batch will be introduced. Okay, you got my point, right? So you at the time of testing, you can give your own batch number, any batch number. That should not same as existed batch numbers. Just give some other batch number and run your job, run your pipeline, and it is going to run for that particular pipeline only. It is not going to run others. Okay, so that is how it is going to be controlled with the if activity. Okay, so let me take a batch number only. So how I'm going to control it, you can see. I'm just going to add one new column to this existed table. Alter. Control batch number of type is integer date type. After table column name. Alter. My God, I will wrong the it. Control table. Here I have to say batch number of type is integer. Now I need to update these statements, right? So I wanted to say batch number equals to 1 for customer table. Okay, I'm just taking one table here, but you can have a multiple tables. So whatever the table, whatever the tables are running at some point of time, the same time of tables is going to come into one batch. That is how we handle it. Let's update the statement. For employee table, I wanted to say it is 2. And for department table, I wanted to say 3. So if I wanted to test only this batch number, okay, so the list of tables I need to pass only based on my batch number. Okay. So here it is going to give a batch number, but the problem here is it takes all the batch numbers, right? This get list of tables is going to take all the batch numbers, and you cannot restrict it what batch number it is. Okay, so but still you can do it. In order to test your batch number is as expected or not. So here I wanted to run only my latest table. I mean, I wanted to test my department table. I don't want to run others. So if I wanted to run only that particular table, so batch number should come as 3. Okay, batch number is going to get only 3. But unfortunately, this lookup activity is going to take all batches. So all batches, it is going to give it to for each. Inside for each, I wanted to test it. Inside for each, if my batch number is equals to 3, then run it. Now, how can you do it? We have to create a parameter. We have to create a parameter. Parameter at pipeline level. If you remember, we have seen how we can create a parameter at dataset level. Dataset level we have seen. Now I wanted to create a parameter at a pipeline level. We cannot change the values of the parameter. We cannot change the values of the parameter. Parameter can take the value from the pipeline to dataset if it is a dataset parameter. So here I'm going to create a pipeline for pipeline requirement, for pipeline purpose. Okay, so we already seen how we can create a parameters at the dataset level. Now I'm just going to create a parameter at the pipeline level. Let's hit on parameter, a new parameter. The name of the parameter is parameter underscore batch control batch number. Let me take the same name of the column. P underscore control batch number. What is the type here? Integer data type. So I don't need to pass the value here. I don't need to pass the value, or you can, yeah, you have to pass the value here. Okay, so I'm passing the value here as what is the batch number you're looking. You're looking for, let me say, this one also we have to take into the select list. So batch number 3 only I wanted to run. So if that is the case, what I'm trying to say, yeah, value is 3. We are looking for 3. So at the time of testing, you are going to do the debug only, or you are going to use the trigger. I'll talk about what is this trigger. How can you pass the value to this trigger? I'll take you through this. Okay, so how many types of triggers we're having? We're going to see very soon. Okay, that is also is very important. So for this value at the time for parameters, when we are going to pass the value to this pipeline parameters, that is the entry question. When I have a parameters at pipeline level, when you are going to pass the values to parameters. So at the time of running, we are going to pass the values. But variables, we are not going to pass the value. Okay, so at the time of running, that means at the time of running is at the time of execution or start of execution. At the time of start of execution, we're going to pass the values. So how we can start your pipeline? By hitting on the debug, we can start running your pipeline, right? By hitting on the debug, we can do it. And by trigger also, we can do it. By trigger also, we can start your pipeline. When the moment to hit on debug, it will ask, what is the value for this parameter? I hope you're following with me. When the moment to hit on the debug or when the moment to hit on the trigger, it will ask what is the value of this parameter. You have to enter the value of the parameter. So by default, I'm keeping 3. Okay, so I'm not going to keep 3. The default value is not 3. It is going to ask you what is the value. Okay, so since we are passing the value, it may ask or it may not ask. But when you add the triggers, when you go with the triggers, then it is going to ask you. It is going to ask you, are these values are perfect or not? We'll see the difference. I'm going to show you how we can use the triggers on top of this incremental loading. Let me hit on debug. We just observe what it is going to do. See, even if you pass the value, it is asking to verify if values are correct or not. So at the time of running your pipeline, all the pipeline parameters are going to ask you to enter the values. You can change the value here. If you want to change this to 1, I can change it. If I wanted to keep it as 4, you can keep it. If I wanted to go with 3, I can go with 3. Okay. Okay, so this is the batch number. So I'm going to take my batch number. Okay, so if batch number equals to 3, then I wanted to run it. So if that is the case, then what you can do is, okay, for testing purpose, I'm saying, okay, so let's go. This one is going to take the batch number also. Let's change this code into this lookup activity. Now you're going to have a batch number here. Let me hit OK. And what I'll do is just come to here for each. Inside for each, we have a if condition. Inside if condition, we have a condition here. We are checking IL. We are checking IL, right? So what I'll do is I'm going to check my batch number. This is one condition. I don't have any problem with this. Now I'm adding one more condition here. So to frame the condition, I told you we can also use the parameters. Now I'm just taking this parameters for reference here. You can see the parameter in the pipeline. If you take the pipeline parameter, it is going to get this naming standard. When we see last time, data set dot parameters dot parameter name we have seen. Now we are able to see pipeline dot parameters dot parameter name. So that indicates it is a pipeline parameter. Okay, so this is one thing. So this batch number should be equals to my batch number. So I wanted to take equals here also at equals bracket open. This is one argument. This is A and B is what? This is not A, this is B. So A is item dot batch number, column number. This column will come. Item dot batch number, comma. This batch number is coming from the table. This batch number is coming from the parameter. So this two should be equals. You are with me, right? These two should be equals. And this should be satisfied and this should be satisfied. Then only I can go for that. Okay. So what I will do here is this code and this code. This is one condition. There is a just try to understand here. This condition I wanted to add it. But previously I have already one condition. This is condition 1. And this is condition 2. To join two conditions, we are going to use logical operators. This condition should be satisfied and this condition should be satisfied. Then only we can go for that. Okay. Then only we can go. And in order to check both of the conditions to satisfy, we need to use, we have a logical AND operator and logical OR operator. So in data factory, we have a logical AND function, logical OR function. So logical AND will be used to test these two conditions. My requirement is demanding, it is asking me to satisfy both of the conditions. These two conditions should be satisfied. Then only I can run it. Otherwise, I cannot run it. Okay. You should not go for this OR. You have to go for AND because this condition should be satisfied and this condition also should be satisfied. These two conditions I have to keep inside this function. So how I'm going to write the function is AND at we are going to have a starting bracket open, bracket close. Bring the condition 1 here and bring the condition 2 here. That's all. It's very easy to do it. Just observe how I'm going to how I'm going to use this notepad to write it. At and. Give me 1 minute. I'll come to your question. Now this is logical AND, right? There is a function. It is equivalent to logical AND operator. First condition is this one. Take this and keep it here. This is first condition. Second condition is this one. Take this entire thing and paste it here. Does everyone agree with me? This is condition 1 and this is condition 2. So it should not be there inside the functions. We can take out them. Now I'm going to take this entire expression. Yeah, tell me, any question?
Oh, sir, actually, in the beginning, what you have taken, that's an incremental loading. It equals item dot load type. So
Yeah.
when exactly we'll go with this function and the second one, the pipeline dot parameters mentioned.
Previously we just checked for incremental loading or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm taking batch number also. If you have too
Okay.
many tables, if you want to test only a few tables, only for
Hmm.
batch numbers wise, we have to run it. If you have a 500 tables, we don't go for all the 500 tables at one set.
Hmm.
It kills the source performance and source will be
Yes.
locked. So we are going to limit it. So to limit it, we are going to use the batch number in a real time. Okay, so here my intention is I wanted to load the data for only batch number 3. Okay, I wanted to load only batch number 3. If I need a batch number 3, then how we are going to do it? That is what I'm just trying to do it. Let's take a
So
copy of this.
item dot control is the for getting the batch number, and pipeline is the parameter to get that number, right, sir? Variable through the pipeline.
Yes.
Sir, a doubt here.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So as we are checking for batch like batch number 3, which we mentioned it as full load. So here the condition we are mentioning as like equal to increment load and batch number is 3. So this condition will be failed, right?
It will be failed.
Yes.
So it will be failed means it will go only full load only.
Okay, but one condition is failing, right, sir? Here, like that's what I'm just. That's where I got confused.
See,
So
first, just observe how exactly it is going to work is we have a customer table. What is the batch number? 1. And load type is IL. And I have an employee table. Batch number is 2. Load type is IL. I have a department. Batch number 3. Load type is FL. Now, how this condition is going to check? First, it will come. This table will come. What is the load type of first table? IL. Okay, load type is IL. This is satisfied. Then it will go to the second condition. First condition is satisfied. That is true. Then it will go to the second condition. Second condition, what it is checking? Batch number. What is the batch number? 1. 1 will come to here. And what is the batch number you are giving in a parameter? 3. 1 equals to 3. Is that true?
No, it's false.
This will not come into loading. Next, it will come to the next table. Okay, so next table load is what? IL. This is succeeded. And this is 2. So 2 will come to here. 2 equals to 3. This is also will not come into loading. Okay. Now,
yes.
So here you can see FL. FL is coming into this place. Is this condition satisfied?
Not.
Not satisfied. And batch number is 3. 3 equals to 3. So directly all the conditions are failed in this place. Directly it will go to into the false block. Okay. So still there is some issue is there here. we have to use you have to use what I can say, pipeline inside a pipeline. Okay, if now I don't want to go at that level. Okay, so it will directly go into the false block only. So simply it ignores these tables to load the data by checking the condition from here. For all of them, it is going to be failed and it will go directly inside. Basically, for in general, if it is a FL, we are not using the, I mean, we don't require to use the batch numbers. Okay, so for this, you may not, I mean, this requirement may not fulfill 100% of the requirement. To fulfill 100% of this requirement, you have to use pipeline inside a pipeline. Pipeline inside a pipeline, you have to use it. Because the batch number should check for IL and batch number should check for FL also. Okay, so that I'll give it as a task to you. You can try with that. For time being, I'm just going to take directly. It will go into the into the false block because all the conditions are going to be failed. So batch number you have to check in both the places in IL and FL. Let me where I need to keep here. Comma here. So comma is missing in this notepad. Here it is a comma. Okay. Let's hit OK. Because in the false block also you may have a multiple batch numbers, right? So since we're having 3 tables, that is fine. If you have too many tables, then we have to handle it carefully. Let's debug it. It is asking batch number 3. I'm just giving a 3 here. But in the false block, I'm not checking. But these 2 tables are not going to load for incremental loading. So that is so. Okay, so here my intention is if there is a too many tables, how we can control loading the number of tables. If they ask in the interview, we can say based on the batch number, we can control it. Batch number will be specified in the control table that you have to say. So that is the main intention to take this batch number into this exercise because project is going to be done by multiple persons. Okay, so in months we are going to do it. So that entire thing I cannot bring into the regular sessions. Okay, so I'm just trying to bring as much as possible. Okay, I hope you are following with me. Now this time it is going to execute only copy data activity only. Okay, so the problem here is if you really identify for every table, it is failed, it is going to the copy data activity. I mean to say full loading, if for every time it is going. So that should not go every time. So 3 times it has to check, but it should not go for 3 times. Okay, so to provide the accurate solution for this, we have to use for each, we have to use for each inside for each. To use that, we have to go, we have to use pipeline inside another pipeline. Okay, yeah, you're asking some question.
Yeah, actually, after executing this, right, it will go to the false block, right?
Yeah,
There is already 3 rows inserted, right? 3 or 2 rows in that third table, department table. It will also add 3 more rows, right? Now,
exactly. That is another problem.
with the same data, we have to so
This data is repeated. So what you have to do when it is a full loading, always we are going to say truncate and load. Go inside this for each. In the false block, in the target, we have a problem. The target, we are always going to say here pre-script, pre-copy script. Before copying, I wanted to say truncate table. We can do dynamic here also, right? Let me take this one. Truncate table, table name. Now let me run it again. Before copying, it is going to truncate the data. Full loading means we are going to truncate and load the data. So that you have to keep in mind. Let me debug it. Let's say 3, hit OK. If we go and see your target table, can have only 2 records because it is going to truncate and load the data. Okay, but incremental loading should not be truncated. Keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm stopping here, guys. Do you have any questions? You're clear on how we can write the expressions, right?
Sir, I have a question related to this billing. Actually, last 2-3 days, I got around 700 to 800 rupees.
What did you do, man? Share your screen.
Yeah. Able to see now?
Are you using a free trial or paid?
Paid one. But thing
Nah.
is that I can see the target database related charges is more. But yeah, money.
No, definitely you have taken a wrong configuration. If you see here by service, SQL database itself, we are having 956. Go to your go to your resources. So hit on this what is that SQL databases. Go to your resource group. That is on top.
Yeah.
On the top subscription side. Left of subscription. Go to home again. There is a left to subscription. There is a resource group service. Or you can search for no, not there. On the top, you just search for resource group. The first one, resource groups. Okay, you have a one resource group. Go inside that. Where are you staying?
Bangalore, sir.
Man, you have taken Central India. Why you have taken East US? That is fine, but data factory, where is your SQL database? Did you remove?
Yeah, I have removed it today morning.
Okay. So while creating a database, make sure to have a basic configuration.
I think
The pricing tier is
basic.
the basic. If you go with the standard or if you go with some other thing, then it is highly chances to go for high cost. And the region, location, you should take a nearest location. You have taken East US. Why? The storage account also. Okay, you have to keep in mind your storage location and data factory location should be same. Okay, you would keep that. Okay, so that I can definitely you have taken wrong wrong pricing tier.
So most preferably storage location, which one we can prefer, sir?
Since you're in Bangalore, you can take a South India if it is having, or you can take a Central India. And that is one thing. And other thing is you're using a SQL Server Management Studio, right?
Yes, sir.
If you're stopping a practice with Azure SQL Server, disconnect it.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I
If
kept
it is in continuously connection, that is also going to be a little searchable, even if you're not running a query. Okay, I did not get that much ads. Even when you're creating a service, especially database, the database should be basic only.
I think the database I took basic, but yesterday also I have seen morning it was showing around 168 rupees.
It was 981. You went very close. I'm taking multiple batches sessions, but I did not get it. Last month I got 500 change. For database only, it is taking it.
Yes.
Okay. So that is very important. You have to have a look on every day. When you're using paid subscription, say for data factory itself, we are having only 25 rupees. But SQL database, we are having that much. Okay, so South AP, Southeast. In India, Central India. What is that Southeast? You have taken some different location. So some different location you have taken and created a database. That is the problem.
Okay, sir. I have
Okay.
already removed it. I'll recreate with correct one.
Yeah, that is the main problem.
Sir, this is Sridevi, sir.
Yes, Sridevi.
Regularly, what are all resources we can keep it in the data factory, sir? Maybe.
See,
Like,
data factory, we required Azure SQL Server. Okay,
Hmm.
AWS Gen 2. These two will be required.
Okay.
If
And
you're
other
not
than that,
if you're not using Azure SQL Server for practicing, now we are using
yeah,
Azure SQL Server. You can have it.
yes.
Once we
Okay.
stop practicing with Azure SQL Server, just take out Azure SQL Server. Remove that.
Okay.
Whenever you
Okay.
require, you can recreate it.
Okay.
Okay.
Azure SQL, okay. And other than that, sir, in the portal itself, Azure portal.
These two only we are
The
going to
resource
use.
group are storage one, sir. Storage
That
is
is what AWS Gen 2.
okay, fine.
Okay.
So
Storage
we
account is 2
will
only.
disconnect, right, sir?
Yeah, we
I
can.
have to disconnect that one. Okay.
Okay, then I'm stopping here, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining.
Okay, sir. Thank you.